Hello, welcome back to the JavaScript Developer Tutorial Series. Today we're going to learn about JavaScript Arrays. An array is like a list or a group of things. So how you write an array in JavaScript is or something. Alright, so we're going to have a list of games or something, and the syntax for it is with these square braces. Alright, which is the syntax for an array, and you just simply fill what's between these two square braces with whatever you want data types, and simply separate them with commas. So JavaScript does not care about white space, so I like to keep things spaced nicely. So we could have my games like chess, poker, and I simply now this is just an array of strings. They don't have to be strings. They can also be numbers in here. They can also be objects in there. Alright. Whatever. I know it's horrible naming convention, but you can have any type in there. You can also have an array of arrays. Okay, so that is the syntax on how to create an array. Let's just quickly throw this in our web browser console over here. I just using Google Chrome, hit F12, or go to the options and open up the web developer tools. Find the console for your web browser. So I'm just going to paste this little array declaration into our console and run it. Alright, so now our array is defined. You can walk through an array, select any, you can select any individual item. This is computer science, so we always start with 0. So like that, and it'll return the first item. Apologize for my screen right now. Same thing with 1. So you pass it the index, and it'll return that item in the array. To reference an array of arrays, which is called a matrix, so if we wanted to grab this number 1, we would pass it as 0, and it grabs the 0 index of the 4 of this item right here, which is inside this array. So this is how I would call this. To call up, let's call up the number 2, I would pass it a 1. Notice that it's offset because we always start with 0, so the first index is index 0. And that's why it appears to be off by 1. Arrays have a lot of predefined methods or functions that come with them. So if you define an array, hit the dot, you have all these methods for the array class, which we'll talk about that in the next video probably. But index of is a really practical one. So if I want to find the index of poker, it's at index 1. So if I say my games and pass it index 1 to select which item I want, it's obviously the same thing. That's a pretty handy method, index of. These are some ones you'll use often with shift, slice, sort. We have an array of multiple different types, so some are strings, so I'm not sure how that would work. But the point is, so we made a new data type, which happened to be an array. Notice I still declared it with the var keyword to keep it local scope, and it inherits from the array object. So we get all these goodies like .length. There's 5 items in our array, and you can go through here and reference these on your own time. .push would be how we push to an array. Extra item, so that'll push it to the array. And now if we list my games, we see we got that extra item. .pop, I believe, just pops off one at the end, so that'll remove the extra item. This is what we removed. So now if we look at my games, it's been popped off the end there. .shift is an interesting one. .shift, I believe that just makes poker the end one and basically pops off it from the beginning rather than the end. So now if we look at it, it's missing the word chess, it's missing the first item, and now this is index 0, this is index 1, this is index 2, and this is index 3, the nested array. But arrays have a lot of built-in methods that you can kind of learn to use, and there's a lot of practical ones. You can extend it too. So because everything is an object, everything is extendable and clobberable, meaning you can just override it. So that's why we like to keep things in local scope. Thank you again. This is just a quick tutorial on arrays. I hope these help anyone learn some JavaScript development skills. Cheers.